Speaking about prodigies, I want to bring this up. Uh, when you first go down to OVW, your first match there was against John Cena, correct?
Yep.
Talk to me about that.
John was great. I knew. So long story short, ECW goes out of business. I'm lucky. I'm one of the ones that the last year or two of ECW busting my ass is trying, because I always knew like where I wanted to wind up. I would have been in ECW for life if it was still there, but you see the writing on the wall. You're kind of figure out something's going to happen. So I'm traveling all over the world. I'm going to Germany, Japan, Mexico, you name it. I'm getting booked everywhere. I get the call from it was Kevin. It might have been Kevin Kelly at the time. He told me, "Hey, look, they want to do business with you." And there was a tryout coming at HPW in Heartland, HWA rather. And I thought I was gonna have to go out to that, but they were like, "No, they're just gonna sign you outright." And I was working out at UPW at the time with Rick Bassman. Shout out to Rick. I love Rick. If it wasn't for Rick, I would have quit the business in 2001 for sure. And going out to UPW, long story short, that's where I met John for the first time. He was great. He was training out there. The Bell brothers helped break him in. Rest in peace, Mike Bell. Love the Bells, but they got John started. He's in UPW. Everything kind of falls into place. Cornette puts the voucher in for me. He gets me signed, and I go down to Ohio Valley Wrestling. I remember calling Jimmy because I had a commit. When Johnny Ace called me up to go to WWE and sign my contract, I told him on the phone, "Look, I have a commitment in Australia, and I got a tour of Tokyo I have to do. I'll get to OVW after that." He's like, "All right, no problem." So I remember calling Jimmy from Tokyo, Japan, in Roppongi, and getting on the phone with him. He laid out the first 4 months of TV, what we were going to do, this big angle. He's like, I know you know John. You're going to come down here. He hasn't been beaten in like a year and a half. You're going to beat him the first night, which made sense years later looking back because I was Jimmy's like favorite kind of baby face. And what I mean by that, I was a smaller guy, especially in the land of giants at that time. O'Hare, Jindrak, Horseshoe, Luther. I mean, they were all here. Proto, giants, seven. But I was a baby face, smaller guy that could move around and bump and sell, and I had long hair. That was the thing. Ricky Morton. Yep. So I came down here first night, talked with John in the back, and I remember the thing that stuck out to me the most on it, and John's awesome. I'm very proud of his success. He deserves every ounce of it. Nobody worked harder. But I remember that match was over, coming in the back and going to my gear bag. And it sounds crazy, but the little velvet bag that you carry the belts in and stuff, he left that. He went and put that in my gear bag. That was cool, man. Like, I never forgot that. But OVW was the first time in my life where I truly got treated like what I felt, like a top guy. I was brought in, put over right away. I always had good angles down here. I got to the point where if Jimmy couldn't be there for whatever reason, I was learning. I learned how to write TV down there. I was booking house shows. Like, I actually got all my confidence from being down there. If I had went from ECW to the main roster of WWF, I would have been maybe Nova, who knows, but I would have been up there. I don't know. I wouldn't have had that next level university training all around that I got at OVW. And I could do it because I wasn't married at the time. I put all my stuff into a Buick Century from New Jersey and drove down there with no guarantee, so to speak, of what was going to come next. I just knew I was going to get a shot. And I came down there, and I mean, practices were 8 o'clock in the morning till 1 in the afternoon. And then he worked out. I was there at 7:30 in the morning, my boots on, ready to go. First one in the ring, last one to lose. And anybody who was down at OVW would tell you that. I just figured, look, this is what I have to do to excel to get out of here. This is what I'm going to do. And I loved it. I loved every single second of my time in Ohio Valley Wrestling. I loved training. I loved being in the ring every day. I loved working out. I loved being around the talent. I loved being in it, like ingesting all of it. I love being around Jimmy, Rip, Danny, all of it. Without them, there is no Simon Dean.